Welcome back po mga kaparokya dito sa Men of Light. At pinag-uusapan po natin ang Gospel of Luke chapter 18 verses 9 to 14. Ang pamagat po ng ating episode ay From a Distance. At kasama pa rin po natin sa ating discussion si Father Deo Galang at si Reverend Kenneth Alde.
Apo. Gusto ko pong parang start yung discussion natin sa third point. Parang idugtong natin.
Idugtong natin. Sige lang.
Detail natin doon sa publikano. Parang malayo yung tingin niya sa sarili niya o mababa yung tingin niya sa harapan ng Diyos. At saka yung una naman parang yabang niya sa harapan ng Diyos. Meron kaming na-encounter na mga lines, sabi niya, hindi ko makalimutan yung when power meets power, you get a struggle. The result is a struggle.
Yeah.
When power meets vulnerability, you experience alienation. Either the one from power or alienation. But when vulnerability meets vulnerability, you experience and meet intimacy.
Intimacy.
Parang siguro the grace of the vulnerable.
Yeah.
He opened his vulnerability before God.
That's true.
He in that way, para bang even God Himself, no,
Yeah.
through Jesus, also offered His own vulnerability before us in His Son Jesus. Parang doon lumalabas yung our intimacy with our God.
Yeah.
Kasi yung approach nung first point ni Bishop kanina, from the perspective of power, when we relate to God, we might experience alienation.
Ang ganda niya na, Father Deo. Kasi ang sabi mo, when power meets vulnerability. And usually, paglapit natin sa Diyos, ang tingin natin, God as power, tayo vulnerable. But you know, the idea precisely is, our God is a God who makes Himself vulnerable.
Yeah.
So when the vulnerable meets vulnerable, so the intimacy develops.
Yes.
Isipin mo, ito nga yung point ng kenosis, hindi ba? Yung self-emptying act of God. Na suddenly the one talking is His Son.
Yes.
God incarnate and as vulnerable as we all are. Tapos, ito yung nakikita ko, napaka-revolutionary tungkol sa Christian faith. No? Parang hindi niya tinitake for granted na yung typical, ordinary definition of holiness and righteousness. Talagang, challenge talaga ng Panginoon. And to think that we're talking about 2,000 years ago, no?
Opo.
And up to now, valid na valid pa siya hanggang ngayon.
Kung minsan sa mga reliyon din, nagiging totoo po yun. When power meets power, you get struggle. Parang pagalingan, pataasan ng kagalingan sa Biblia, kung sino yung maliligtas, the religion itself becomes a struggle.
That's right.
If you push it farther, it even becomes violent and leads to war, no? Yung Holy One. Then, when power naman meets vulnerability, parang it's only an isolation. It's alienating. Either the one who is in power, righteous, and then the one who is so vulnerable. Because God Himself made Himself vulnerable. And before a vulnerable God, no, we open our own limitations. Like the publican. That's the result of what we call an intimate relationship with God. No?
Alam mo, Father Deo, minsan may nabasa akong isang writer, sabi niya, parang religion daw deteriorates once it turns into an organized pretense.
Wow, ganda nun.
Parang nag-deteriorate na siya pag wala na siyang nawawalan na ng kinalaman sa Diyos kapag ito ay puro pagkukunwari na lang. Parang pinagkaisahang pagkukunwari, unorganized pretense. Ang ganda nun, ano?
Ako naman po, kung minsan, ako na-realize ko rin na Father, sabagay, magiging pari na si Kenan, Reverend and Bishop. Yung, even when you say organized, no? Ako po mismo, sige, yung trabaho ko po kasi sa organization. Mga nagtuturo po ako ng mga organizing, mga planning, gano'n. Then I realized after almost 16 years of priesthood, no, na-realize ko po, the church is not about organization of uniform, time, of task, and it's really a relationship.
It's a relationship.
It's a relationship. And for me, sorry po sa term, no, sometimes organization is only a necessary evil for us to be able to keep the structures of the community.
That's true.
Ang dami pong mga taong nagkikibahagi sa simbahan, sa parokya, sa mga ministries. They only experience an organization, but never a community. It's about your uniform, your attendance, your task, your skill, your training. And then, at the end of the day, parang we might miss the whole church. That Jesus did not or build an organization.
Yeah.
He created the people of a relationship of their own woundedness
Yeah.
and their own need for one another and the mercy of God.
Yes, yes. Alam mo, meron akong narinig na kwento tungkol sa isang parokya na yung isa sa kanyang mga altar boys ay nangupit ng pera. Tapos gusto ng buong organisasyon na sisantihin na yan, alisin na yan, gano'n. Pero yung ginawa ng pare, yung, okay, sabi niya, maglilib muna siya, pero we will have him treated. May sakit yung bata, sabi niya. Tapos, eventually, isinama pa rin siya sa ibang organisasyon, but continuous pa rin yung paglilingkod sa simbahan. Yung ganun ba, in other institutions, parang napakalinaw ng criteria ng who belongs and who does not belong. Kapag you fall short of the standards, sisanti ka, alis ka dyan, gano'n. Hindi sa isang pamilya. The church is family. Di ba? Parang, kaya nga, yung pag pinag-uusapan yung tipong excommunication, hindi ba? Madalas tayong ma-misunderstand dyan, no? That actually, it's a medicinal thing, no? Parang tipong, ito may kinalaman sa pagpapatindi pa ng ating pagsasamahan, no? And anuman ang ating ginagawang hakbang para ilayo ang sino man sa atin, ito ay isang paraan para mas ilapit siya.
Ganun, distansya ka muna para makalapit ka ulit.
Ngayon, yung aking gustong tumbukin talaga na punto dito sa ating last round of discussion ay ito focus na sa God mismo. No? Kasi kanina focus dito sa dalawang nagdadasal sa Panginoon. Pero mula naman sa...
Baka makalimutan natin yung punto ng pagdarasal. It's about God.
It's about God. It's about God. No? It's about the God who knows us. Hindi tayo pwedeng magkunwari sa Kanya. Kaya, may sino ba yung nagsabi na, ang sabi niya, God is closer to us than we are to ourselves. Hindi ko na maalala exactly.
Bishop Ambo, according to we claim it, Bishop.
I'm sure sa mga tagapakinig, pero magte-text kung saan galing yun. Pag nagsisenior moments ka na rin. Ito nga, Father Deo na to. Kanina ho na-break kami. Dami niyang kinukwento, mga kinuwento ko long time ago. Buti ka pa naalala mo. Buti ko na maalala.
Sabi ko nga, Bishop, namimiss ko yung mga kwento-kwento mo noon.
Oo nga.
And ngayon din po itong sinasabi natin na realization. Malalim po kasi itong ikatlong punto that without us knowing it, kung minsan we're searching for God outside, no? Hinahanap-hanap. Okay naman din po ito mag-retreat tayo, pumunta tayo sa mga malalayong lugar, simbahan, most primarily. Pero sa totoo din po, even in our own prayer life, always, kahit nakasabit po kayo sa jeep, always realize that even God is always with you.
Yeah.
And had never abandoned us.
At
Yes.
saka siguro, mas magandang tandaan na bago natin hinahanap ang Panginoon, una na siya naghahanap sa
Yes,
atin.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Alam mo, last week, sinelebrate natin yung Feast of St. Teresa of Avila, di ba? Na-invite ako ng mga Carmelites, ng mga third order, mga secular Carmelites sa Angeles City. Tapos, nung misa, binasa nila yung responsorial psalm. Parang talagang nanunuot doon sa puso ko. Kasi yung Psalm 84 na, how lovely is your dwelling place, Lord of God of hosts. Tapos parang tinrigger pa niya sa akin yung favorite ko na psalm na madalas nating dasalin kapag Sunday week 1, yung, O God, you are my God, for you I long, for you my soul is thirsting, my body pines for you like a dry, weary land without water. So I gaze on you in the sanctuary to see your strength and your glory. Tingnan mo, memorize mo nila. Kasi yun ang pinaka-common na dasalin among the Psalms, longing for God. Tapos, yung parang in-address ko yung longing for God. And itong si Saint Teresa of Avila, sabi ko, parang ang lahat ng reflections niya, writings niya, ay about longing for God. And para siya nagbibigay ng mapa on how to find God. Dalawa silang Carmelite na mystics, si Saint John of the Cross at si Teresa of Avila. Si John of the Cross, ang description niya doon sa paghahanap sa Diyos ay parang pag-akyat. ascent of Mount Carmel. At meron siya mga stages bago ka aabot dun sa tuktok para maabot ang Panginoon. Si Saint Teresa of Avila, incidentally, no, baliktad, hindi si John of the Cross ang spiritual director ni Teresa. It's Teresa as spiritual director of John of the Cross.
Doctor of the church.
Doctor of the church ba to? Itong si Teresa, binaliktad niya. Ang sabi niya, the path to God, sabi niya, ang landas patungo sa Diyos ay papasok. Papasok sa ating kaluluwa. It's an inward journey, ang sabi niya. And she described it as the interior castles, the seven-story mansion. Ang sabi niya, ang kaluluwa daw ng tao ay parang isang buong diamante, isang mansyon na mayroong 7 palapag at sa kaloob-looban nandoon ang Diyos. Ang sabi niya. Kaya applicable siya dito sa yung closer to me than I am to myself. That is what you are, O God. It's Augustine, I think. I think it's Augustine. Oo, si San Agustin. Di ba yung na siyang nagsabi na kung saan-saan kita hinanap tapos only to discover that you're there waiting for me, inside me. Di ba?
Ito pong pagdarasal natin, maganda ring sign na ma-discover natin the God in us. Kung minsan, sabi, if we are looking for God and we feel we are far away,
Yeah.
actually, God never moved. No?
Yeah.
Baka ikaw yung lumayo, hindi
Ikaw lang
siya.
lumayo. Good idea. That's a good way to end this gap. At wag ko kayong aalis. Kami po ay magbabalik pa rin dito sa Men of Light.